All right, we are live, ladies and gentlemen. We are live. Welcome to another episode of I guess you would call it lead therapy. It's just something I like to do. I like meeting and talking to really interesting people, especially in the two-way community, because we are all on the same side, and it just means a lot to be able to just network. So in the chat we have Mike McClune. Mike, you are number one. I think you're like number one. It takes a little bit for these people to come in. Shut this off real quick. Nice. Hold on. All right. So today we have a very, very special guest, and it's a guy I've been watching for about a year and a half now. Excited to have him on the channel, man. And without further ado, let's round of applause for Jared from Guns and Gadgets. What's up, buddy?
How we doing, man? How you been?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for taking the time out to do this. I know, especially with the trial and all that stuff, man, you're pulling some long days. I know I watched about 2.5 hours, and you kept it going pretty good just for those 2.5 hours I was in there. I was like, man, that's pretty all right.
Thanks, man. It's it's long days indeed, but I try to stay grounded. If it might seem like a long day for me, it's even worse for Kyle. So anything we can do to get the word out or keep people up to speed with what's going on, I'm happy to do my part.
Man, that poor kid stepped in it. I mean, there's no way around it.
Yeah,
but we'll get to that. Get to that. So for people that are watching this on replay, you're from Massachusetts, correct?
I am currently. Yeah, not for much longer.
So are you making the switch?
I definitely am. Yeah, once my retirement should be done in next month, and once it's done, next goal is nest egg for down payment.
Nice. Where are you looking?
Florida.
Nice. Go straight to the sunshine.
Yeah, I was triangulating. It was either going to be Texas, Tennessee, or Florida, but the company that I own part of is in Florida, so I can probably do more as an owner and help them the closer I am to it. So.
Right. Plus the weather's nicer. I mean, Texas is great. It's God's country. I love Texas. I love living here, but it gets pretty hot. It's pretty miserable. At least in Florida, you kind of have that cool ocean breeze.
That's called humidity.
Oh man, trust me, it takes a while to get used to it. Once you're used to the humidity, that's no big deal. But man, Massachusetts, what a fallen state in my eyes, because it's so much history there. I mean, Revolutionary War. I mean, you did a whole thing on Lexington and Concord, which a lot of people don't even know what that is. And then you got the first Thanksgiving. I mean, there's so much history in that. I forget what the bridge you were crossing in your video. It was
which one of them? There were a couple.
Concord, where there was
the Old North Bridge.
The Old North Bridge. People died right where you were standing.
That's the first. That's the first real big battle right there, right where I was.
Man, so much history there, and that state is so far gone with their gun laws. I mean, I don't understand how you could. Well, I'm from California, so I lived with it my whole life, and it sucks.
Yeah,
Massachusetts. I think Massachusetts is a little bit better than California, though.
It is. We have a roster too, but it's not as restrictive as Cali's is. Compared to California, we're almost a free state. Compared to New Jersey, we're a free state, but it's rough here now. This is the state where liberty was born, but liberty died here a long time ago.
Man, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
So you were born and raised in Massachusetts?
Yep, born and raised. Minus 3 years, I've been here my whole life.
Nice. Oh, those 3 years you were in Louisiana, right?
Yeah, in New Orleans.
Yeah, I remember you were talking about. So for those of you that don't know, Jared has a long history of being a police officer. 20 years?
24.
Wow, 24 years. And then that's the only career you've ever had?
Yeah. That was majority of I went into that career at age 21, right when you're legally allowed to hold that position in this state. And then I blew out my back in 2018 in November and struggled with it until I had surgery a year ago, October, and it's been deemed a failure. And my back will never be the same. So I'm leaning on the YouTube thing.
Oh, when I saw you, I met you at IB88.
IB88.
Yeah, and you seem to be getting around all right, man. That was a long day on the feet, though.
Yeah. So I try to. What I'll do is I'll game plan. I'll rest up if I know I'm going to be on my feet for a while, but usually I'll be having some issues standing up straight or getting out of bed for a day or two. But it's just part of life now. I can still walk. I can still stand. I can still be a dad. So it's a win
Right.
because it was really close to being something that was going to be debilitating and paralyzing. So I'm blessed to be above ground, and I'm blessed to be able to be a dad. So
Nice. Let's look in the chat, see who's in the chat. We got Mike McClune, MZ, Dennis, Fluffy, Jeff. Now it's funny. I watch your live streams and it goes by so quick. I don't even understand how you can keep track of it.
I can't. It's really, really hard, man.
It's tough, man.
Yeah.
Jeff, Jay Curry. Jay Curry's a good dude. If anybody has any questions for Jared, man, please put them in the chat. I already got a few that people text me they want me to ask you. Nice, nice. Let's see. Felicia, what's up? What's up lives on the internet. Bob Goodwin, nice, nice. So the first question someone wanted to ask me is why you wanted to be a Leo. Did you always want it, or?
Yeah, I knew at a really young age it's what I wanted. I grew up really, really rough. Grew up in the projects. Had a lot of my family has done prison time. I grew up in a way that when I was growing up, I didn't think a kid should have to grow up that way. Saw a lot of crap. And just the way I grew up, I knew that I wanted to try to be part of a reason why some other kid didn't have to grow up that way.
Right.
Without getting too deep in the weeds, I didn't want others to have to experience an early life the way that I did. And I thought my way of helping was to be somebody who that those kids could look up to instead of fear.
Nice. That's awesome. That's super noble. Well, I didn't join the police force, but I grew up in Los Angeles, right next to Compton and Carson. So I hated it. I couldn't wait to get out. I spent my entire life trying to get out, and now that I'm in Texas, it's like your eyes open up and it's the best. When you move
Yeah,
to a
it's
free state,
freedom.
you'll understand. When you move to Florida, you'll be like, oh, this is fantastic. I can buy whatever I want almost.
Yes, I can't wait.
All right. My next question came from a subscriber. He says, what is the scariest thing you saw on the job?
24 years is a long time, man. I've seen a lot of stuff that I still live with. I guess some of the most troubling things are the crimes you see perpetrated against kids, defenseless,
Oh, yeah.
innocent kids, and those I had trouble with dealing with on scene, and sometimes, it'll cause you to drink alone in the dark sometimes.
No, those guys, that's why I could never be a cop. Those guys, I would just take them right out. They don't need to be in
Yeah,
society.
it's tough. It's tough to keep a level head, man, when you're looking at the most evil of evil. But it's part of the gig.
Yeah. Have you ever had to use your firearm?
Drawn it numerous times. I've never had to squeeze one off. Luckily enough.
Nice. That's, people have the wrong idea about gun owners that, oh, you're just looking for a fight. I hope I never have to pull my gun ever. I carried
Yeah.
every car keys, but I don't ever want to shoot anybody.
No, the idea is to not have to.
Exactly. I mean, I brandished one time when I was getting gas at a gas station about 2 years ago. And it saved me because they had guns too, but since I was armed, they kind of just went their own way. But I didn't want to shoot anybody. It's never fun,
No, I mean, look what's going on with Kyle Rittenhouse. I mean, they would do the same to any of us, and depending on the state, even more rabid of an attack.
Yeah, that poor kid stepped in it big time.
Yeah.
So do you have and here's another question. What was the best day on the job? Did you ever really have a day where you're like, man, I made a huge difference today?
Yeah, some of those same scenes that are some of the worst I've been on is, to to be somebody that a child confides in to say, you know, what's really going on, and to be able to see that kid get taken care of, or you know, the boogeyman that person lives with be removed from the scenario. Those are the times you feel good about what you've done. You know,
That's awesome.
those are the times where I felt proud of being able to be at the right spot at the right time. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. That's so cool. So, how did you end up in New Orleans from Massachusetts? Did they just offer you a job down there, or was it some kind of special assignment?
Long story short, I was hired in the city I grew up in Massachusetts called Worcester, dead center in the middle of the state, and got hired, and the class was canceled due to funding, lack of funding. So my buddy and I, we were going through the processes in the area together to try to get on the job, and we went down on to New Orleans because we wanted just to get away and clear our heads because what we were going to do got canceled. So we went down for Jazz Fest. And it's a big thing every year in New
Oh, yeah.
Orleans, big week that they celebrate music and stuff, a lot of concerts. So we checked in Sunday night. Never forget this. Turned on the local access just to see what was going on, and they had the first ever non-resident NOPD exam. The next morning, we went to it, and the long story is, by the end of the week, finished an entire process, which would usually take 2 years, and got hired and started the academy not too long after that. So I never got to see a single concert. I didn't have any of my vacation. It was living in at the behest of the police department for a whole week, but it worked out pretty good.
That's awesome. Did you guys both move down there, or was it just you?
So we both got hired by NOPD, New Orleans, and the Border Patrol. And he chose BP, and I went NOPD.
Nice. Man, I used to go. So I do a lot of trade shows. I do logistics for a living. So I'm always in New Orleans, at least once a year.
Beautiful
But,
city.
man,
Yeah.
some of the food down there. There's this place called Drago's. You probably heard of it.
Oh,
They
yeah.
got grilled oysters. Forget it. Forget it. That's like the best. I love it.
Yeah,
Love
Cajun
it.
and Creole food is amazing.
Oh, yeah. 100%. And then you got Bourbon Street, which is terrifying, fun, and fascinating all in the same block. And then when you get to the end of Bourbon Street, it's just pitch black. You're like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
time to turn around.
That's
Time to
it.
turn
Yeah.
around. You
We
feel
get
like
to
you
a new
walk
area.
through Diagon Alley in Harry Potter. You're like, whoa, gotta turn
Yeah.
around.
Yeah,
There's
you're
no more
right.
street lights down here. Nice.
True.
So you've been doing this since 2014.
Mhm.
Nice. And then how did you decide that you wanted to start doing YouTube?
Another odd story. I was out of work. I blew out my shoulder. I had a surgery, and then while I was healing up, at the time, back in like the end of 2013, YouTube was like cat videos or
Yeah.
holster reviews. Everybody was doing a holster review if you weren't into cat videos. And I was been a firearms instructor for a really long time, and said, you know, I can do that. I mean, so I bought an Alien Gear holster, and I had my son hold up an iPhone. I think it was an iPhone 4, and he hit record, and the rest is history. I wanted to do reviews, which was why the name of the channel is Guns and Gadgets, and then I realized just how expensive that was going to be.
Oh, trust me, I know.
So I would. In my career, I was always really good at reading all the laws, all the BS laws that are on the books. I try to master my craft no matter what I get involved in. And I was really good at interpreting Old English and telling people in layman terms what it meant. So I did a couple of videos on Massachusetts gun laws, and they hit better than any other video I was putting out. So every time I would sprinkle in a law video, I noticed they would do better. So I started to do more of them. And that was pretty much all she wrote. I started to do videos that were no longer just from my area, that were different parts of the country, because as you know, what passes here in Massachusetts will head to California. What passes in California goes to New York, and then they spread throughout the rest of the states. So I wanted to keep people aware of what was going on, and give people ideas of how they can actually be a part of the process to either help kill a bill or to help support a bill.
Yeah, 100%. And my channel's small, but I've always tried to focus on building the community locally, because if the government ever shut off the internet, gun people would just be in the dark because
Mhm.
a lot of us, me included originally, we just like to keep to ourselves, even like the closet preppers. It was kind of just a very disorganized bunch,
Yeah.
But channels like yours really kind of, you get thousands of people in your live streams, all under the same banner. We all want to know what's going on. And your channel's grown so much in the year and a half I've been watching it that it's bananas. The
Yeah,
progress over
man.
the last year and a half has been great. But I will say some of your videos, like your most successful videos, I mean, you did one about the Apple Watch battery.
Yeah.
That one took off. I mean, that one took off. Um, the Cabela's lawsuit, I think that's at 2 million views.
I
That
think
that I
that
watched that one.
hit 1 million views the first week and 2 million views like in the first month. That was a good one. That was a real good video.
Like a rocket, man.
Yeah.
See, a
Well, that's
lot of
because I mean,
YouTubers would do like a part 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for that just because, oh, that's successful. But you didn't. You just kept going. It's current events, current events, current events. I
yeah,
did
I
notice
mean,
on your channel.
you can only
Oh,
beat a
go ahead.
horse so much, and I've never been a big fan of milking something until it's totally dry. I mean, if there's something else to report on that case, that's when I'll touch base.
Yeah. But I did notice the production value almost right away on your channel was pretty good. Did you have any training in like that stuff, or was y'all self-taught with your editing?
Yeah, self-taught. I did take in high school. I majored in graphic arts, but graphic arts in 89, 90, 91, 92 was different than this. I mean, we were doing business cards and typefacing and old school printing. But when you get an eye for what looks good, it kind of carries into everything else. So once I learned how to use Final Cut Pro, I was able to figure things out. And if I wanted to learn something new, I would just research the hell out of it until I could figure it out on my own.
Yeah, like even some of your videos from 2016, you had stuff pop up. I'm like, man, that's 2016. That was high tech. You had words coming in and out. I was pretty impressed because,
Thanks, man.
when I have people on that do YouTube, I'm like, well, let me look at their first videos just to see how crappy they are. Because your first videos are going to be the worst. Let me see what
Always.
they do. And I was like, it's actually not that bad.
Thanks, man. I
It
used
kind of
to. I
blew
didn't
me
have a
out.
studio back then. I would be like in my bedroom or in a bathroom or a hallway just to try to get away from the kids so you couldn't hear the ambient noise. So it's come a long way, and a lot of it is because of the people who support the channel from Patreon and people who help out when they can. And I've been able to keep up with the times and buy better equipment that helps me put on a more professional looking product, and it never ends. I always want to. I mean, I always want to be the best that I can at what I do, and that never really ends with technology always changing.
Oh, I know it, man. It's stuff that your cell phone now can take. It's amazing. It's
Seriously,
amazing.
I won't even bring up like a real camera. I won't even bring one to an event now. I just use my iPhone.
100%. And now they even have the little gimbals for the phones. It's a walking but like you said, you have to have an eye for it.
Mhm.
If you have an eye, like you can shoot a whole commercial with an iPhone, just if you know how to hit the angles and all that stuff. So you are the first person. You're probably the only male YouTuber that's ever done a lethal lace review, which I thought
Yeah,
was hilarious. That's a
yeah.
classic post.
It's. I remember that when I was talking with the owners of the company, and they were like, we want people to know about their product. I was like, yeah, send one to me. I believe women should carry guns too, and if this helps get more ladies to carry a gun, I'm all for showing it. And
Yeah, I thought that was
they didn't
funny.
believe me, but I did it.
I saw that because I was watching. I was like, okay, where's he going with this? How is he gonna review this? And then you're like, well, let's cut to this video. I'm like, thank God, because
Yeah.
I love you, man, but I don't want to see you in lethal ways.
Yeah. Uh, I try not to. I know sometimes I know where the line is, and I try not to
Yeah,
step over
right,
it.
right. So you were monetized pretty quickly, though. I mean, you had a couple months. You were already monetized doing YouTube.
Yeah, I don't. I think I don't remember what the numbers were back then, but a couple months I was monetized, but I wasn't getting the amount of views where, I mean, I remember it took me like 9 months to make my first $100 on YouTube. And I was
Oh,
like, $100. Yeah, it's $100 I never had. Um, yeah, it was a while because YouTube it has a thing where you don't get paid unless your revenue hits that $100 mark. And if it takes 8, 9, 12, 15 months, then that's how long it takes for you
right.
to get that. So yeah, I remember that first $100 like it was it was a major accomplishment. So
It's huge. I like when you get that certificate from YouTube saying you're now monetized. You're like, oh man, I made it. But
yeah,
I went down the wrong alley. I went for a reviewer, and you're right, it's super expensive.
it
And
sure is, man.
yeah, I think I should do a cooking show or something because this reviewing guns is phenomenal. It's so much fun, but just like I was telling a buddy of mine, my wife bought this eyeliner the other day, and it was $200.
Wow.
$200 for eyeliner, and then she goes, "How much you spend on ammo this year?" I go, "Oh, get two, get two."
But your ammo's a write-off for your channel. Is she going to be able to write off the eyeliner?
Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Let's see. Someone wants to do an EDC check. So, what's your everyday carry? In the chat too. Post your everyday carry, guys. Let's see what you guys are carrying.
Well, it's a live stream, so we can't show it because they'll cut it.
Right.
But I have right here, about 6 inches below my camera. Today, I've been playing with my my M17 SIG 320. It's got a Streamlight X300 on it and the SIG Romeo 1.
Oh, you posted that picture on your Instagram, I think.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I posted it today.
Love that gun, man.
Today's knife is a WE Knife 704 satin finish. I don't know if we can show the knife, but it's on my other desk. Flashlight today, I wasn't running one, which is usually not me. And I always carry an extra mag using a Neo mag in my left pocket.
Oh man, I just use I don't carry I do carry a little pocket knife, but it's not like anything fancy. But I always carry an XDM. Well, I don't know. I just got the XDM Elite in 10 mil today, so I might change up to that because usually compact 10 mils just beat up your hand.
Yeah, they're snappy. As I did the Glock 29, and that was brutal. And so I got this one and see how this works out. But yeah, it's a snappy little gun for a compact.
Yeah. Are there any companies that you like more than others? Because Springfield Armory, there's still people holding grudges to this day.
Yeah, there are.
Are you in that bandwagon too?
I give credence to the fact when the ownership said they really didn't know what was happening to the money once they donated it. I don't know. I just wish they would have come cleaner sooner. You know what I mean?
Right.
But as far as favorite companies, I love my OZ9 from ZevTech. Zev Technologies. I mean, a fantastic gun out of the box. One of the fastest shooting and flattest shooting I have.
Really?
Love that gun. I love SIG and Glock. I really want a staccato. Really, really want a staccato. Tony, if you're watching, I really want a staccato.
You know what's funny? I always tell people, I got into this. I just bought a gun. I'd carried it. I wasn't really into guns. I had one. I carried it, but I didn't know everything about a lot of guns. And I tell people when you have a staccato or you shoot someone else's staccato, it's like the car dealership. They loan out a brand new car to you, right. And you get to shoot this beautiful new car. Then they give you your piece of junk back, and you have to go back to shoot in your polymer piece of junk, and you're like, it ruined.
They make a really nice product.
Or if you shoot like a CZ race gun, oh man, you shoot one of those real nice, like a Parrot or what do they call that other one? Yeah, but you shoot that, it's hard to go back to shooting a Springfield or a Glock. You're like, it kind of messes me up.
It is. I remember the first time I was playing up. We were doing a dueling tree with my buddy, and he had a race gun because he is a shooter, a competitive shooter. And I was like, shit, I'll run it with my Glock 17. Why not? And smoked me. That thing is it's just tuned for speed. It just smoked me with it. It's a different world.
Yeah, and they shoot those like low power bullets
Yeah.
that they shoot them so much faster. It's low recoil.
Yeah.
Man, it's bananas. So, let's see. Any more questions? No. Well, besides your SIG, what would you carry separate? Like, what would be your other gun if you couldn't carry your 320?
All summer long, I carried a 43X Glock 43X just because of the size. I run shield arms mags in those, so you get the 15+1 in a smaller platform. So it's basically a Glock 19, just shorter and thinner, easier to conceal. Ran that all summer long. When it gets cooler, like now, I'll typically run one of my Zev Techs just because you can get away with a bigger gun than we have bulkier clothes.
Right.
And I'm not a 1911 guy. I have one and I love it. It's my Sig Sauer We the People 1911. That thing is a work of art. It's sexy. It shoots. It doesn't jam. It's just an awesome little gun.
So when you say you're not a 1911 guy,
Mhm.
I used to not hate them. I was like, it's old. I don't like it. It can't carry a lot of rounds. Now I have like 6 or 7. I love them. Like it. Again, history buff. That gun's been around forever. It
Oh yeah,
worked.
2 world wars. Yeah, I hear that all the time.
Oh yeah. 2 world wars.
Yeah.
Yeah, 45. You only got to hit them once.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
not that I'm not a fan of them. It's just in my career path, you just weren't exposed to them a lot. So, my whole, even as an instructor, everything was a Glock, a Smith, or a Sig, or a Mossberg Remington shotgun, or a Colt, or some other type of AR pattern firearm. So, it's just what's in circulation. I got my first. Actually, it was on my channel. My buddy Morgan, who owns Minuteman Armory up in northern Massachusetts. He's a huge 1911 guy. So I told him, I said, bring a bunch to the range and teach me about them, and I'll record it and we'll put it out. Because if I don't really know much about it, there's other people that don't know much about it, and it was a way for me to learn and help my viewers learn at the same time. It was a pretty cool experience.
I love them. The very first time I had a 1911, I was a Remington R1. I took it all apart. I couldn't put it back together, man. So I went back to the gun store. I bought it in a box, and the guy was looking at me while he put it back together. He looked at me in the eyes. I'm like, all right. I almost got my man card revoked right then and there. I was like, I'm so sorry. He goes, YouTube, bro. Just look. I did watch YouTube. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, it's tricky the first time you take it apart.
Let's see who's in the chat. We got Randy Adams, my good friend Randy Adams, Jay Curry, Robert, Felicia's always a great person. Jeff Coleman. So Jeff actually went up to the USCCA event, I think, and he went all the way up there just so he could shake your hand.
That's so humbling, man. I can't even. It's shocking that when people say that stuff, it's an extreme compliment, and I'm just really grateful for the opportunity to meet somebody who watches me and stuff like that.
Yeah, that is. Well, it's funny because now you're such a household name in the 2A community. I rarely run into anybody that doesn't watch you because it's where I go to get my news. Like if I hear something going on, I'm like, oh, what's going on? And I first, with the McCluskey thing, that's when I first found your channel. And everybody, if you're not a subscriber to Jared's channel, I've just posted his link in the chat. Let's make sure the link went through. Please click it and subscribe. You will. There we go. There we go. So Guns and Gadgets has been my go-to now for news. I mean, it's Tim Pool, Guns and Gadgets, in that order.
That's humbling. Thank you.
It's the only thing. It's like you've replaced Fox News. You're the new Drudge Report for me.
Thanks, man. It's extremely humbling, and I'm very appreciative. Thank you.
So it was the McCluskeys, and then I really started watching you all the time during the election, when we have our most popular president in the world elected.
Yeah,
God bless him. He's the best.
I heard
Texas concealed carry. That was something that
did you hear the dirt going on with him and Kamala?
Oh yeah, Him and Kamala. They said that Buttigieg is gonna leapfrog her and
It'd be
be the.
interesting. I saw somebody sent me a scenario today, just messing around, and it said that um, Hillary would be voted in because the House is the one who would do the vice presidential candidate, and then it would have to be approved in the Senate. But
Oh
they
my
said Hillary would get the replacement if they boot Kamala, and then Joe would get the the bounce from the 25th Amendment, and then it would be Hillary Clinton for the next 3 years.
I'd take her over Joe
Ah,
because at least she
yeah,
was kind
I
of a
don't know.
war hawk. No one's gonna mess with that crazy woman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
I would
she would
take
do a little more as
I would
far
take
as,
anybody over Joe.
yeah, I don't know. Hillary would be one to watch closely. I think she would do. I mean, Joe's terrible, but I think she would make Joe look like a friendly
Joe.
cat.
That's what he looks like now. He's a fumbling old man. He's just. Anybody see my keys? I mean, that guy's just so old. But the David Chapman saga, that was my next time, and I couldn't get enough of that. I watched those videos over and over. I was really scared that guy was going to get in control, and I was like, man, there it goes. ATF is going down. Like,
Oh yeah, Chipman's a fool, and he's still pushing for money big time with the Gabby Giffords organization. So we haven't seen the end of him. He's just fighting a different way now.
yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't made a Netflix movie yet.
Give him
As
time.
far as the Rittenhouse case, God, that's what everyone wants to know about. They want to pick your brain, Rittenhouse.
Yeah, sure.
What's going to go on? Do you think they're going to acquit?
I hope so. There's a couple. I mean, you never really know what's going on in the jury chambers. It's that way for a reason. But you have a couple things that have played out. First off, mistrials on the table with prejudice. The judge can make that decision even after the jury comes forward with whatever they do. I think that this should have already been thrown out as a mistrial with prejudice because of the gross misconduct of the prosecution, how they have lied in open court. They have violated Kyle's Fifth Amendment rights and his Sixth Amendment rights in front of a jury, in front of the judge, even when they were told not to bring up certain things. They addressed his right to remain silent after his arrest, which is a huge no-no in court. They aren't following through with the rules of evidence and discovery. They're giving Kyle's defense team a compressed, shitty version of the FBI drone footage while they have a 4K version.
But that was an accident.
Yeah, my ass it was. And it's just there's no way that this kid has a fair trial. It's just not. I mean, they've slandered him irreparably. And you have the jury now. You got the MSNBC people have been caught following the jury bus, trying to either film, photograph, or identify who they are, what they look like, what do they drive, stuff like that. It's bad, and judges aren't going to do this mistrial with prejudice unless they're pushed. And which brings us to Kyle's defense team. They could be a lot stronger. They could push more aggressively to defend their client, and they're not. I just don't know why they're not making objections when it would be clear that any other attorney would make an objection. We'll see. I think the longer it goes, typically, from my experience, the longer a jury stays in deliberation, it usually means they might be coming back with a lesser included crime. But in this scenario where there's allegedly two of them holding up the decision for fear of their own personal safety or being doxxed, maybe they're holding it off until they can ensure safety. There's all kinds of things at play, but you never really know because nobody can get into the jury chambers and pick their brains. So we'll see. I hope it gets wrapped up tomorrow. I'd hate to see it go into next week. Remember OJ, they were deliberated for 4 hours, but a little different for that case because they were sequestered for 8 months of that trial. So they got out of Dodge as soon as they could once
if it don't fit, if it don't fit, you must acquit.
Yeah,
well,
right, exactly.
I was listening to some lawyers talk. There was some podcast. There was like 15 lawyers on it, right? It looked like the Brady Bunch, and they said, well, if they do it without prejudice, then they have such a strong case for a retrial now, because then they could even interview the jury as they outgo and how they thought about certain pieces of evidence. They can, now that they have all of the evidence, they know what the prosecution's going to ask. They can have a stronger defense. But the only problem, from what they said, is where are you going to find an impartial jury now that's not tainted? I mean,
Yeah, there's no such thing as an impartial. I mean, the days of people not knowing about a major crime are gone. I mean, as long as everybody has one of these things, I mean, the world is at your fingertips. So it's really important. I doubt that there's anybody who doesn't pay attention to the headlines like that stuff. The key, I mean, I want to see mistrial without prejudice, because that can't be retried. With prejudice means that the prosecution can have a second go around, and hopefully the defense learns from some of the mistakes they made, or maybe Kyle gets another attorney added to the team that's a little more aggressive. I don't know. There's a lot of scenarios. I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
oh, and they also just got the identity of the original guy that kicked him when he was down first. That guy just came out of the woodwork. Huge rap sheet on that guy too.
Yeah, jump kick man. Yeah, he's well known now. Yeah,
And he'll be pulled into it, and his rap sheet is pretty long, pretty lengthy.
yeah. It'll go against the prosecution's case that all these guys were, the best things since sliced bread. They were like clean, fuzzy little bunnies, and Kyle just totally abused them.
So Barry in the chat says he needs a better defense team next time around. Oh, I know. That lawyer. Well, I don't like lawyers to begin with, but that guy's kind of just feels extra slimy.
So Kyle had a serious. It was being called the Dream Team. He had some serious attorneys. It was 10 or 11, like the best of the best. It was the two top self-defense attorneys in the country who have actually tried self-defense cases and won. There was two of the best like body language attorneys and interpreters out there. Robert Barnes, who is a huge attorney, he's tried stuff in the Supreme Court, well-known guy, and a couple others. And then last minute, right before they did the jury selection, hocus pocus out of focus, didn't want to work with the outside team, and they had a falling out, and this is what you have now.
Are the jurors sequestered in like a hotel, or do they just get to go home at night?
It's different in different states. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it. Maybe we could ask MSNBC since they were following them. I don't know.
Yeah, because it's someone's neighbor, someone's cousin, someone's aunt. They're gonna talk to somebody. They might not know what they're doing, but they know, oh, every day they leave at 6, they come back at 5. Something's going on. So their names are eventually going to be common knowledge.
Yeah, well, jury's names aren't protected. Like, there are ways you can legally, if you're doing research on a case, you have the ability to find out who made the decision. It is a public record of sorts. There are a couple ways that they can shield them, but some states will put them up in hotels. Some of them will let them go home. It all depends on, like, I'm not too up on Kenosha and the county and how they run their things, but it could be a little bit of everything.
All right, here's a pretty good question from Me the People. He goes, what's up with that video? Why is the quality so important?
So, for a couple of things, not that they're going to find something different in the quality, not necessarily, but the rules of evidence are, if I have seized this bottle of water and it has whoever, Joe Blow's DNA all over it, and we're charging Joe Blow with murder, and I don't give you this, I give you like a Coca-Cola bottle that nobody's ever touched. You don't have the same evidence, so you can't run your tests with your scientists or your investigators. So you don't have the same access to the same information that I have. And that's the whole thing about the rules of evidence is it's discovery. What I have for evidence, I have to give to you, so you have the same evidence. So you can call the same witnesses, you can observe the same video and use that video for your defense of your client. And when they went to go watch this video, when the prosecution pulled up the clear footage that the FBI had, that's when the defense was like, hey, wait a second, this isn't the one we have. And then they found out that the version that the defense had a different file name, and it was a much smaller compressed file. So there's been some chicanery going on.
Yeah, 100%. Let's see. Yeah, the MSNBC thing. God, so that was just a freelancer they hired to go do that. I don't think he works directly with them, but he's like an expendable chess piece. If he gets caught, but that
Yeah,
judge wasn't having it.
the lady that he said he was ordered to do that from, I guess she's wiped all of her social media accounts.
Jeez. I mean, that's such a no-no. Knowledge freelancer. Everyone in the chat, please hit the thumbs up if you haven't already hit the thumbs up. Also, if you're not a subscriber to my channel, please subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I just posted Jared's link. Please. Oh, you guys are already subscribers to his channel. Who am I kidding? But if you're one of the 1,000 people that are not, please subscribe to his channel.
I'd appreciate it. Thank you,
man. So, Alec Baldwin. God, I'm so into this. I'm balls deep into this. I can't get enough of this Alec Baldwin. One, I despise him as a human being. I don't like him. And he was in Glengarry Glen Ross, one of my favorite movies of all time. But other than that, I don't give a crap about this guy. So
he's one of those, those schoolyard tough guy bullies that are all bark until somebody punches them in the mouth. He's an anti-gunner, and it's unfortunate people got hurt and someone lost their life. But there's a whole bunch of incompetence going on, and what came out yesterday, the script, the lady who's in charge of the script, filed a lawsuit against Alec Baldwin, saying that when the scene he was practicing, he wasn't even supposed to pull the trigger, wasn't even supposed to cock the hammer back, and he did it. So it was done intentionally. She's saying that it wasn't called for. There was no need to actually pull the trigger. So she's pointing a big finger at him, as well as saying that things that happened that day on the set were totally unsafe and violate every safety rule that's set up for movie sets that have guns. And she also pointed a big finger at the armorer as well.
Yeah, well, I heard from some website. I believe everything I see on the internet here on the internet. I'm one of those. They said in the actual scene, he's not even supposed to be holding a gun. He was playing like Russian roulette with it, and then he just shot her.
Well, and going through, I mean, I've heard a couple different things too. I've heard, he had allegedly had said, or Holanya had said, we'll do another take, and allegedly he said, no, I'm not going to do another take, and how about I just shoot you both, and then it went off. But I mean, you hear all kinds of the BS because now that people are running with the story. But now the lady who was in charge of the script said that he was rehearsing what he needed to do for that script, but it didn't call for the gun to be cocked, in her own words, or the trigger pulled.
Man, that is bananas. Like it sucks that that lady lost her life, and it's sad. It's a sad situation all around. But man, if he did that, he's already the producer, so he's liable. I mean, he's done. I think his career is kind of not over, but it's going to take a hit. I don't think he can survive.
No, he'll probably end up like a new champion for gun control, even more than he was. He'll be working probably with Chipman. He'll be the new the golden boy, probably.
Yeah, there's that meme going around that Alec Baldwin's killed more people than 99.989% of gun owners in the United States. It's crazy.
I mean, even if you take how we feel about him in the scenario altogether, I mean, he shot somebody and killed somebody, and I mean, it's got to be having an effect on him too. So that's one thing I try to do, and I said that today in the live stream with Kyle. You got to think of the families involved all around, even for whoever we think the bad guy is in the case. That could be somebody's kid who could be going away for a very long time.
Right.
To have the world by the balls one day, and the next day you're looking at facing your life and the rest of your life in prison.
Man. Real quick in there, Shooting Gallery New England with the $4.99 super chat. Thank you, man. Smash, did you watch Your Highness last night? I did. We were talking about because I'm sure you need just to turn your brain off sometimes.
I try. It doesn't work out that well. I got 4 kids, man.
Oh man, I know. So we're like, what movie can you watch and just kind of turn off your brain and just get into? And one is Your Highness, which is a completely moronic It's like idiocracy set in medieval times. It's so stupid, but it's something you could just kind of get into. And then you have 4 kids. How old are your kids? They're
My oldest will be 21 next week. Then I have 16, 8, and 7.
Jeez, that's a gambit.
Yeah.
So
I don't recommend it.
I have a 20-year-old. She's out on her own. Thank God. And then, well, she just got a notice today because she's going to go in the military. She's to take the poke or that's it. Like, well, you just did 4 years of college on their dime, so I don't know. It's up to you. It's your choice. Go.
Pull
You
the
got to
pin.
think about it. Go talk to your doctor and all that good noise. I can't tell you any. I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah. All right.
So she'll do the right thing, hopefully. But then I have a 9 and an 8-year-old.
Cool.
They terrorize me.
That's their job, man.
Yeah,
That's why we have no hair.
I know that. I blame that on the 20-year-old. So I wanted to talk to you about your Blackout Coffee. Now, did you start that or you just got involved with it?
I got involved with it. So John Santos and his wife started the company. And they are originally from the Massachusetts and from this area of Massachusetts, and they moved down to Florida, and they started it while they were down there. And he watched the channel, was a subscriber, and figured, hey, let me reach out to Jared. He's from where I'm from. Maybe he can be an affiliate and help us grow. And I did the affiliate thing for a while, and we doubled. We kind of grew out of what we were in, the spot we were in, and I was offered an opportunity to join as a part owner and jumped at it, and we're growing and bought a new facility and trying to become a coffee empire, I guess.
Nice. I don't drink coffee. I drink my caffeine cold.
We do tea and hot chocolate too.
Oh, okay. I do hot chocolate. Like it is Christmas, and we go out. I do a fire pit almost every night because when it's cold in Houston, you want to take advantage of it. So we do a fire pit 4 or 5 nights a week. We do marshmallows and hot chocolate and stuff, and it's kind of like that's my way of kind of decompressing because logistics right now is bananas. So
Yeah,
my whole world is upside down.
you
So
can
that's
thank
how
Joe for
I
that.
decompress. But that Blackout Coffee sounds pretty good. It's taken off because I see it everywhere now.
We're trying, man. It's family owned business other than myself, and it's a small. What we do is we control the whole process from beginning to end. So we buy the beans green and we roast them ourselves, depending on what roast, how long, and all that stuff, the temperature. We control all of that, and we bag it ourselves. We grind it ourselves. We make the K cups in house on our own. And then we ship on our own. So we control the whole process, which helps us keep a tight grip on the quality. And we typically, if you order today, we typically can get it out to you out of our doors within 2 days at the longest. And then depending on how the couriers are doing, it gets to you, as fast as possible. But
No kidding.
we take pride in that and getting out the door and making them fresh.
Wow. Wow, because coffee, all these shit hit the fan guys, coffee is one of the great bartering items. So instant coffee.
We're coming with it. We're working on it.
Black Rifle coffee is good. Well, not the right coffee. Iced black coffee for the win. See, all these people drink coffee. I was just never a coffee person.
I wasn't either. The first 20 years of my career, I wouldn't drink coffee, and I worked, overnights, midnight. So I would drink sodas to stay awake. And then I realized that was freaking destroying my body. So I stopped that cold turkey one day, and I needed something to help me stay awake all night long. So I started drinking coffee. And first I couldn't do it black. So I had to have, what we call, like, if you go to Dunkin' Donuts, you get a regular. And then I weaned off that. And now I only drink it black.
No kidding. Yeah, I got a buddy of mine that drinks Dr. Pepper first thing in the morning.
Ugh.
I know. Well, Dr. Pepper's from Texas, man. You gotta love it. If you come to Texas, you drink Dr. Pepper.
But we have it up here too, but not at 6 a.m. Screw that.
It's a religion in Houston. Like when I first moved here, I was throwing a party at the apartment, and I didn't have Dr. Pepper. So one of my guests left, went to the store, and came back with it. It's like, all right, man, I had Coke. I don't drink that crap. Dr. Pepper. So that USCCA event you went to seemed pretty sweet. I heard about it, but I thought that was like a real small. I didn't know it was as big as it was going to be.
Yeah, it's the first one I've ever been to from USCCA, and I was impressed. It was well, especially after the times everything everything's been canceled for the last year and a half or whatever. And there were a lot of people that came from around the country. It was good to see everybody, and I was really impressed with how they did it. I look forward to next year, and to be in Texas was even better because I didn't have to worry about the weather up here, and it was a
Right.
good time.
Yeah, I saw that video you did on it, and they actually had a trailer where you could shoot in the trailer. They had a
Yeah, that's the
mobile gun
first
range.
for all of the events I've been to that are indoors, like conventions. I've never seen one have a live fire range as part of it. That was pretty cool.
That's bananas. Did they have like lanes, or was it just 2 lanes? Or
There were 3 lanes inside of it.
that's crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So I was lucky enough, myself and Johnny B, we were two of the first 4 people to shoot the new Beretta that they came out with. So I got to play with that gun before anybody else, and then shoot it in a trailer inside of the expo center at an event. And it was pretty cool.
Nice. I do miss your reviews though. Like, so like I said, anytime I have someone on the stream, I try and go back and look. Like you have so many freaking videos, like 2,000 something videos. I spent a week going through it. And I just couldn't do it, man. I was on Jared overload. It was a
Dude,
lot.
I've deleted over 230 videos. Most of them that were shooting and building, like how to build an AR upper or lower and stuff like that. For obvious reasons, everything was under attack from this platform, and
Oh, you especially.
yeah, I was demonetized, and I got a note from people in YouTube that said my channel was at risk of being deleted. So I kind of had to make a decision and took off the stuff that they were targeting, and stayed with the law stuff and saved the channel, I guess. I'm
Yeah.
still
Well,
here.
if you notice, I couldn't put guns and gadgets. So every time I do a live stream, I put, monetize, and then I do who's going to be on. And every time I put guns and gadgets, they yell it out immediately,
Mhm.
demonetize. So if you notice on this one, it just says lead therapy 26, G and G.
Yep.
Because if
No,
I
I
put guns
know.
and
Believe me.
gadgets, I did it 3 times. Just yelled it out. They yell it out a live stream that hasn't even happened yet.
Oh yeah, they love me.
So you're on someone's, and then they, I thought about hanging it up myself actually last month, because every time I argued with someone online from YouTube, I would look and they'd yellow out more of my videos. So I had like 15 of the last 25 yelled out, and they do some like right away. And it's like, man, your first couple hours, that's prime time.
Mhm.
And man, it was a bummer. I've had a bummer couple weeks on YouTube. I don't
Well,
love it.
don't take it serious because they did it to me too. Especially once I started doing the Rittenhouse trial stuff. Every single video was yellow before I even hit go live, or even made it public if it was a regular upload. Um, I just I appeal them. I've won every single appeal, so that tells you something, right? If you're
Right.
right and they're still gigging you every time, it's obvious what they're. It's the algorithm at first, and then it gets bumped to a human, but they're definitely trying to accomplish a goal.
Yeah, I had one. It was just an ammo run video where I just go around looking for ammunition at Academy. It was yelled out as I was uploading it. I'm like, it's just me driving around. That's nothing. No politics, no swearing, no guns. There's no guns in the whole video.
Nope, just doing legal stuff. They don't
I
like it.
know. Finesse with a $4 super sticker. Thank you so much, Finesse. Really appreciate it. Yeah, all these people. Mike McLuhan. Oh, we got Mr. Big Kid in the chat. Mr. Big Kid,
That's my
one of my
buddy.
favorite people.
What's up, bud? How you doing?
Gear Know How. Oh, Gear Know How's in here too. Oh man, now we got all the celebrities. All the celebrities. Yeah, I always tease everybody. So at Iraq Veteran, I wanted to meet you and Mr. Big Kid and who's that? Shucks, he's like the most famous gun shooter ever. That old guy, super tall.
Hickok 45.
Yeah. So I got to meet all three of you guys in like 10 minutes, and I'm like, what do I do now? I was like, wow, that was quick. It was bam, bam, bam. I'm like, oh shucks. I guess I'll shoot some guns or something.
Yeah, it was a good time. I didn't go to both this year because obviously the USCCA event was running the same time Eric's second one was going. But I've been told that next year they made it a point not to have it on the same day the USCCA event is. So I'll be at the real one next year.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I went again, and on Sunday this time they tried to change it up and add more stuff to it, which was cool. But I didn't
Good.
stay on Sunday.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's good because most people boogie Saturday night.
yeah. Apparently Sunday he tried to do a live meltdown video.
Oh, that's awesome.
That I know, but I think they ran into a problem. But I had left, and they were like, "Why did you leave? We're doing all this cool stuff." I'm like, "Oh well, because last year we didn't really do anything cool on Sunday."
Yeah,
Yeah, Hickok 45, everyone's favorite uncle.
I
Yeah,
remember the first time I met him and his son John. It was like, "Hey guys, nice to meet you."
yeah, he's a pretty tall guy. So I was doing a review of a store in Atlanta, Georgia. Um, so I'm talking to the store manager and just hanging out. The store is called True Prep. It's a phenomenal store. It has AR stuff, prep stuff, all in one building, one-stop shop. It's amazing. And Hickok is in there, and I walk in, and he's there. I'm like, oh, she goes, oh, we got 2 YouTube celebrities. I'm like, no, 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 you got 1 celebrity in this guy. So no. So we had talked to him for like 15 minutes, and I go, oh, I'm gonna do an interview with the store manager. He's like, okay, go do your thing. I was like, cool. And so as I'm doing my interview, he walks behind me and he starts picking up stuff and all this stuff in the background. I think he was totally messing with me, man, because the video is hilarious if you watch it. And I was like, I can't. I'm trying to like have a conversation with this lady, and there's Hickok in the back just picking up an axe, looking at an axe. I'm like, what are you doing, man? I think he was trolling hard,
He's a
but it
good dude,
made
man.
for good content, man. It was hilarious.
He's a good guy. I like him a lot.
Yeah, very down to earth. Because he doesn't know me, and he talked to me for about 20 minutes. It was awesome.
That's cool. He's a good dude.
Yeah, one tall guy. So what else is coming up? I mean, if you had, just so we can put a bow on it and wrap it up, the Rittenhouse case, if you were a betting man, how do you think it's going to end tomorrow or the next day?
If I was a betting man, I'd probably say the judge is going to do a mistrial, whether it's with or without prejudice. I'm not sure. It should be with prejudice. But there's been so many snafus where the judge, who is supposed to be the arbiter to ensure that Kyle Rittenhouse has a fair trial, he can't ensure that right now. So he's supposed to declare a mistrial, and it's still on the table. If I was a betting man, I think it's happening, but you never know.
So without prejudice means they can try it again, or is that with prejudice?
Yes. So if it's with prejudice, it means it's done. Without prejudice means they can come at it again.
All right, man. I don't know, because if they try him again, there's no way they're going to find a jury pool anywhere that's not tainted.
No, and hopefully he has a better team if it has to go again.
Yeah, 100%. Mike McClune with the $5 super sticker. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Wayne says, hey, Jared, C6.
What's up, Wayne?
Says, agree, it's going to be a hung jury. Mr. Big Kid is a riot. Right. That guy is something else. Or we could have 2 more months of deliberations. I don't know. From what these lawyers were talking about today, they said the longer it goes, the worse it is usually for the defendant.
Yeah, typically the longer it goes, then they're looking at lesser included crimes to, try to convict on something to save a little face, which isn't what their job is. But that's typically what happens in that case.
So the court has no responsibility to protect the jury's identity on these cases, or?
Well, they do in some ways, like the bus that they're being shuttled back and forth in. It doesn't. I don't think it has windows, or if the window does have windows, they're I don't know if they're wrapped or whatever, but they can't see out. So it's to protect them from being seen and from them from seeing the protesters, so that they're not unduly influenced by anything other than the evidence presented at trial.
Yeah, but if they're going home at night, they can just watch the news. And
My guess is that they're staying somewhere, especially with a high profile case like this. That would be my guess. But, I can't tell you for sure because I don't know.
Man, that is a bummer. I hope that kid gets off. I mean,
I do
I
too.
will. After I watched that video several more times, his awareness of the situation and the precision shots he took was pretty amazing.
Yeah, and plus he disengaged as soon as the people who were a lethal threat to him were no longer a lethal threat. He had another person that they showed numerous times that was holding a club or something that was just off the camera to the right.
Yeah,
When Kyle looked at him, the guy, backed up, and when it was obvious that wasn't a threat anymore, that's when Kyle started to run.
man, that poor kid. His whole life is over now.
Yeah, and one good thing is he can do what that Nicholas Sandman kid did from DC, is sue every media outlet that defamed him by calling him a white supremacist and all that shit.
Oh, you mean the president?
Including the president. Yeah, that would be the first person I would sue, and make it a very loud lawsuit too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. His life is ruined, but he's never going to work again. That's for sure.
No, he'll be living well as the Prince of Bel Air, probably.
Let's see. Dwayne in the chat says he met Hickok at a pro-gun rally in Tallahassee, Florida. Nice. Scott says Kyle used great restraint, no mag dump. I know.
Yeah.
That is pretty amazing. He'd already been kicked. That's what a high stress situation, and he was all alone. There was a lot of people screaming, "Kill him," or fuck. That was messed up.
Tough spot.
Brandon Huron, Smash Time. The police write you a ticket? Yes, they did. Oh,
I saw that video.
They got me, man. They got me. I was doing. It was a school zone. I was doing 26 and a 20. So
they stopped you for 6 over.
He gave me a strong warning. He's a cool cop.
And not if you're stopping people for 6 over. No, he's not.
Well, school zone.
I don't know. That's somebody with 24 years experience. I've never stopped anybody.
What's funny is I was coming southbound on this road to drop him in. You go in the school parking lot. So I went in the school parking lot and I sat there because I knew he saw me. And I was like, I'm going to get it. So I sat in the parking lot for like 25 minutes watching your videos. And then I'm like, well, good use of time. I didn't see him. As I pull out, got me, man, with the lights. I'm like, where was this guy hiding? And then, he just chewed me out a little bit about driving too fast. I'm like, all right. What can you do?
Dude. I've never pulled anybody over for 6 over, nor would I wait 20 minutes to just.
He got me. I know. I couldn't believe he got me. I figured, I see him every morning. He pulls a lot of parents over. A lot of people do speed. There's a ton of kids running around. In Texas, they take school zones super serious. Like they'll do sting operations with those buses all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Where if both sides of the street don't stop when that stop sign's out, I mean, the cops just come out of everywhere and they just ticket whole group. Flying Rich is in the chat.
Hey, buddy. Good to see you.
Smash, you still have the ability to drive fast. Ha, 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 ha. So I sold my GTR and Rich always brings it up. Yes, I still have the ability to go fast. Do you still have the ability to crash planes? It is the same cop. So this same cop got me 3 times because on the way back from IV-88, I was doing 30 and a 20, and he got me. But we had just driven all night from Atlanta, so me and my buddy Mike were exhausted, and it was like 8 in the morning. We're like, "Look, man, we're just trying to get home. We're exhausted. We just want to get here." So he cut me a break then too. So I've had like 4 warnings from this guy. No tickets, but strong warnings. Officer Sanchez. Jeff Coleman says, Jared, you come to Texas, you must experience a Buc-ee's. Have you been to a Buc-ee's?
Not yet. No, I was told last time I was there that I have to check one out.
Oh man, let me just tell you. So you're probably like, I don't get it. It's a gas station. Who cares? But when you go, you're like, wow, it's an experience, man. It is a trip. It's like if we're not doing anything on a Saturday, we'll pack the family up and just go to Buc-ee's. It's yes, we're that bored. We're that bored.
I'll make a point to check one out next time I'm there.
Yeah, you got any plans to come to Texas anytime soon?
Yeah, February I'll be back down at the Gundies.
Gundy's,
Drive Tanks.
Drive Tanks. Where's Drive Tanks? That's by Austin.
Uvalde. Uvalde, way western part by Mexico.
Oh, nice, nice. The Gundy's. I'm trying to go. I just want to go hang out.
Give them a call. I'm sure they'll invite you.
Yeah, maybe Mr. Big Kid will nominate me for most tickets from a police officer while filming. That's like the third one. That's like the third time that guy's got me while I'm filming. Oh man, it was messed up. But hey, I know it's super late. Man with 4 kids, is three still at home or all still at home?
They're all still here, man. They have autism, so they'll probably all be here forever.
Oh, okay. Well, even that's more on your plate too, because I had a cousin who was autistic, and I love that guy. But man, it's a handful.
Sure is. Yeah, it's. I mean, we wouldn't have this scenario if we weren't meant for it. But I always say I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, but I wouldn't change it for anything in the world.
100%. Those kids are, people that don't have kids don't understand.
Yeah.
And do you ever watch Tim Pool?
Yeah.
So he gets very self-righteous sometimes, and it's because he doesn't have kids. And he's like, well, if they came to my door, blah, 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 I would do this. I'm like, really? For one, you're rich now, so you don't know. You have the ability to walk away from stuff, and he doesn't have kids. So if the feds ever show up at your door and they're pointing guns at your kids, look, man, I'm not going to Ruby Ridge it. It's their kids. I'll go out like that, not my kids. So
yeah, no, we're supposed to deal with that so our kids don't have to.
Yeah, I'm gonna be avenge me, just like in Red Dawn.
Yeah.
That's how I want to go out. I want to go out like Red Dawn. Red Dawn Dad was cool. Avenge me, son. But Jared, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. I really, really appreciate it, man.
Oh, the pleasure's mine, man. We can do it again sometime.
Oh, 100%. But your schedule is just bananas. I don't know how you do it.
I don't know. It takes my wife is like my quarterback. I don't do good multitasking, so I'll focus on one thing, and then when I'm done, she'll say, "Don't forget you have to do this." Oh yeah, now I got to go take care of that. So nice. I'm lucky I have her, because I'd be lost without her.
Yeah, I tell my wife that all the time too. She's almost believes me. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you coming on. Everyone, thank you so much. Let me put his link. You already are a subscriber to Jared's channel, but just if for some insane reason you're not, please subscribe to his channel. And till next time, guys.